everyone, it's your friend Thinknoodles, and welcome to Ask Think for Monday, March 9th, 2015. And I almost said March 8th because it actually is Sunday night, and I looked up into the corner of my screen, I saw March 8th, and I was like, oh yeah, you have that one. Whatever, anyway. Okay, guys. So the question I asked you guys last week, and it was a mistake on my part, and I'll explain why in a second, but the question was, who is your favorite teacher and why? And it was a mistake on my part because I didn't specify that you guys shouldn't say my third grade teacher, Mrs. Simmons, because that gives away too much personal information. So a lot of people put the names of their teachers and or what grade it was, and I couldn't bring myself to put those on the video because I don't want to put your identities at risk. So some people knew better than to put such like that on the video or whatever, or just didn't put it on. Yeah, I'm so sorry, guys. That is completely my fault. Complete lapse of judgment. I should have thought of that. But I'm gonna, the comments are disabled for the video now, so nobody else can read them ever again. So any of that personal information that might be in there that you might be worried about now is gone. So don't worry. Dumb. Okay, so anyway, we'll start with Josh Close, and his favorite teacher was his first grade teacher because he was always her favorite student. She would always compliment him when he got to class. Whenever his classmates get a little overwhelmed, she'd say, be like Josh or sit like Josh. All those good compliments, memories. Wow, it sounds like you were the teacher's pet, which usually is, which can be a good thing, but sometimes people might get a little bit jealous. Button to the Max says his favorite teacher was his third grade teacher, of course, a long time ago. Not as long as third grade was for me, but okay. It's all relative, right? She was so nice. I liked her so much. I actually made a newspaper for her, and she even let me pass it around to my other classmates and read. Third grade was probably the best year for him ever in elementary school. I assume it's a him because I don't know why I assume that, but it's a skull. So anyway, Blue03 Gaming says my favorite teacher had to be my sixth grade teacher. He was awesome. He always made learning into a game. Every day my teacher would tell us to go outside and play zombie tag, and sometimes we'd have reading class or language arts, as you might call it, in the woods. Also, we didn't have recess in my middle school, so that was a big plus. Yeah, I mean, wow, not having recess, that stinks. So it's nice that your teacher recognized that and gave you some, I guess, time to yourself that would, time for you guys outside the classroom. Good Daisy Day says my favorite teacher would be my math teacher. Why? You might ask. Well, because one time I was heading to my class and it was our snack break time, and well, she was walking by and a boy accidentally tripped her. The yogurt she was holding was currently on my face. I know, isn't that a bad thing you say? No, because after that she helped me get cleaned up and we had a great laugh together. That sounds nice, and it's good to have like something like that you can have with a teacher. Julia Grace says my favorite teacher was my social studies teacher from last year. She would tell us her dreams, and once she dreamed that a teacher at our school brought her 2 cats to school and walked them on leashes down the halls because they were prize-winning cats, and she told that teacher, go take your prize-winning cats home. They are welcome here. It was really funny. Didn't know that grown-ups had weird dreams like that. Oh, yes. Yes, we do. In fact, yeah, I have pretty weird dreams, but my dad is the king of weird dreams. I mean, the king. He remembers all of them, and he'll just, you just, whenever I see him, he's like, oh man, weirdest dream last night. And he tells you about it, and it's just completely off the wall, makes no sense, and oh gosh. Amaya Parada says, my favorite teacher is this year's teacher, my 5th grade teacher, because she tries to give us candy even though our school doesn't allow them. Don't tell my school. That's awesome. I'll try not to tell your school. iPad Gamer says my favorite teacher is my math teacher for 5th grade because he makes math fun and not just the text, which is the state of Texas requirements. And you know what's funny? I noticed that a lot of people are saying that their math teachers are their favorites. So I don't know if that's because, well, I mean, a lot of people don't like math, but it seems like the teachers are really making a good effort to make math fun, which is kind of really awesome. Kate Manaher says, instead of my favorite teacher, I'm going to tell you about the worst substitute ever. You see, he let us play on the computer the whole time, and when my teacher came back, she flipped out and was like, I'm all very disappointed in all of you. Well, I mean, okay, I think that I bet you thought it was the best substitute ever while you were playing on the computer, and it was the worst substitute ever when your real teacher came back. But yeah, no, I remember we used to have, what was he? Oh, I was thinking that I used to have a substitute that was like that, but he was actually the teacher. He would just didn't really feel like teaching. I don't know what happened, but like it was AP Spanish, and like he would call it Dia de Tralala, and he would be like, okay, Dia de Tralala, and we would be like, okay, and that just means it's a day of doing whatever you feel like. Well, we're gonna be here for 45 minutes, so I don't know, whatever you want to do. We just didn't do anything for like a whole semester, and it happened to be AP Spanish, which come January was a little bit worrisome. But they actually brought in a different teacher for the second semester, and he drilled us hard, and I did okay on the AP test. Alexa Hop says, my favorite teacher would probably be my 6th grade English teacher. I love her because she would do cartwheels and backflips if we got a question right. She loves to tell us stories about how she used to be an Eagles cheerleader, which is a really popular NFL team from Pennsylvania, in case you didn't know. That sounds really, really intense, but awesome. I mean, I can't imagine answering the question right and watching my teacher do a backflip. That's crazy. Wild Lugia That Can Talk says, my favorite teacher was my 3rd grade one. I have a lot of medical stuff going on, and one of them is that I turn white when I get cold. Basically, the blood vessels close up in your fingers and toes, etc. I think that's vasoconstriction. And she tried to get warm water for me, knowing that I had that, and she had the entire class make rice sock snowmen in class, so I wouldn't feel alone. Now, however, I don't go to that school and I'm in a different grade, and she's apparently a 1st or kindergarten teacher. She was an awesome teacher, and it really sounds like she really wanted to make you and make everyone feel or sort of, sympathize with you and feel what you're feeling and really include you, so you could be like everybody else. And, well, the most popular answer, although there were only 2 of them, was from people who are homeschooled, like Mike Cool says, my favorite teacher is the best teacher ever, also the best mom. Yes, that's right, I am homeschooled. I love my mom. She's taught me so much. Hashtag best teacher ever. And Amy Davis as well says, mom, oh, my favorite, probably Miss Mom. Yeah, I'm homeschooled. Mom's my favorite teacher. Now, as for me, my favorite teacher, I guess I would have to go back to college. I mean, I'm not literally going to go back to college. I'm just saying, thinking back to college. And my most favorite teacher was my networking professor. He was one of the youngest professors I had. Probably one of the youngest professors. I know he's the youngest professor in the computer science department, but maybe one of the youngest professors in school. He was only, I would say, 5 years older than I was, maybe a little bit older. Maybe he was maybe around 28, and I was like 21, 22. So I could really relate to him, and he was kind of fresh out of college and the industry, so he had a lot of really practical experience in the industry. So it was really exciting to have a teacher that wasn't all about theory and stuff like that. So he really, really got me into networking. And that's actually why, as soon as I graduated college, I went to work for Cisco Systems. Now, as for next week's question, I didn't really see anything in the comments that struck me. So I came up with something on my own. And it's because today was slightly warmer than it has been for the last 2 months. I think it was like the first time we've broken freezing really that I can remember in the last 6 weeks. So my question for you guys is, when spring finally comes and it gets a bit warmer, what is the first thing that you want to do? Sort of like, just warmer weather. And what is the one thing you haven't been able to do and you're looking forward to doing? Now, I'm sorry to those of you guys who live in the southern hemisphere. Totally left you guys out. I mean, okay, if you want the people in the southern hemisphere, so for you, maybe it's a really hot summer, and whenever it finally gets cold, what's the first thing you want to do? Now, before we get to the questions, don't forget to leave your question for me in the comments below so I can have something to answer next week. Remember, only one question per comment, but you can leave as many comments as you like. Also, if the comments on this Ask Think are closed, go to the most recent Ask Think and ask your question there. And the first one is the most popular one, and I'm sure you guys can guess. It has to do with my new channel icon, and I guess it's my new logo because I've put it on Twitter, I've put it on Instagram, I've put it on Facebook, YouTube, everywhere that I have a logo, logo, even on Skype. Everywhere that I have a logo, I've changed it to this new logo, and I love it. And people are asking, why did you change it? Well, so someone had asked me a few weeks ago and asked, would you ever change it? And I was like, I can't really think of what to change it to, you know? And someone sent me an inbox message on YouTube and says, I'm not a great artist. And I'll actually put put it on screen right now. And it said something like, because I don't have it on my screen literally, but you guys can see it. It said something like, I'm not a great artist, but I saw that, and I think this is an idea that you could use. And it was like a noodle bowl. It's like, yeah, you know what? He's actually right about that. And if you think way back before I had this, and maybe very few of you even know this, but before I had the avatar with my skin on it, I had a noodle bowl. That was what my icon was. But it wasn't a custom drawn one really. It was kind of just clip art. So I went to Inkbite and I asked him, I said, hey, I'm looking for I kind of want a logo that isn't Minecraft. I love my Minecraft logo. It's cool. It's got my character and it's classic and all that stuff. But I play a lot of other games. I play Clash of Clans. I play The Sims. I've played Spore. I play Pop Tropica. There's a lot of things that I play that aren't Minecraft. I mean, Minecraft's primary, but still, I wanted something that I could stick with kind of forever. And I didn't tell him that I kind of had the noodle bowl idea. So I wanted to see what he would come up with on his own. And he said, how about like a noodle bowl with the TN coming out and the noodles around it? And I was like, brilliant. That's exactly what I was thinking. And he came up with it and I love it. And yeah, I hope you guys like it as well. I know it's going to take some getting used to. It's still, for me, like when I post a comment or something and that logo comes up, I'm like, whoa, oh, right, I changed it. So it'll take a bit of getting used to, but I think it's going to be awesome. Jake Fuller asks, can you even update the next time you go on a server like Mineplex? And as you guys can see, Mineplex in the background playing with you guys. And yeah, I always do on Twitter. Keep an eye on my Twitter page. If you don't have Twitter, you can always just go to twitter.com/think_noodles and see when I'm playing. Usually when I send a tweet out that I'm going to be playing on a server, I'm there for about an hour. So you have about an hour to get there and maybe get in one game if you can't get in all of them or whatever. But yeah, I always give an update. Chalk Mima asked, do you know a way where Twitter can alert me when you tweet? I'm not a very active person on Twitter, and I don't want to get my feed spammed with lots of random Twitter things. I want to know when you're playing on servers, asking for IGNs, streaming, etc. Have a nice Monday, or whenever you're recording, most likely Monday. Well, yeah, I think that it depends. I think what app you're using, but I know that you can set it, and this is what I mean. I assume you mean on your phone, right? Or your tablet or something, but you can set it so that it notifies you when I do something. And I think if in some apps, or in most apps even, you can specify what you want it to notify you of. So you can say, notify me when Thinknoodles tweets, but not when he's retweeting something, not when he favorites something, not when he does this or that, just when he tweets. Because whenever I send out a thing asking for IGNs, or on a server, it's not a retweet, right? It's an actual tweet from me saying something, and it's not even a reply. So that is the way you need to do that. You need to manage it through the app that you have. Alyssa White Tiger Girl 3 says, I was wondering, you come a long way. So here's my question. Most YouTubers don't take the time to comment, yet you do. Is it because you really value your fans, or because you don't want to be like everybody else, or something else? Well, of course it is because I really value all of you guys. I wouldn't do Ask Think every Monday if I didn't value you guys. It takes a long time to do. It takes a few hours, 2 hours to go through the comments and order them. then an hour to play the background, so that's 3 hours. Then I have to record it, that's about 35 minutes, and then I have to edit it, that's another hour. So each of these Ask Think videos, it takes me around 5-6 hours to make, closer to 5 actually. And it used to be the hardest videos I make. ThinkSlab is now the hardest, but this is the second hardest. And it's because I do value you, and also, well, it's not that I don't want to be like everybody else. I'm just not like everybody else. That's just who I am, and this is why I do this. Panda Pancake asks, will your wife answer our questions again? I miss it. Yes, she will, because I usually do this right before we go on vacation, because I have to load up on a few Ask Thinks. So yes, I'm going on a vacation soon for 2 weeks. I need it so badly, guys. Not that I want to get away from you guys, but because I love all of you, but I need a break from the computer. I really, really, really do. Don't worry, videos every day as always. But yeah, we're gonna be going away soon, so I'll let you guys know when I want you to ask questions for my wife. Stella Kim says, think lately schools have been using laptops as part of their education program. Do you approve of this as a YouTuber, or do you think it's too much screen time for kids? Oh, I love this. The fact that you guys can watch me in school, awesome. No, I'm kidding. I mean, if you want, that's great. That's cool. but no, truthfully, I do think that there is value in tablets and laptops that just can't be offered in regular paper books. And I really do see a value in it for education, and the fact that you can also learn to use the computers themselves better is really going to serve you guys well later in your life, because it's only going to get more advanced. Computers are only going to get more integrated into our lives, so it's important that you guys learn to use them really, really well as part of your lives now. M. Prin says, does your wife have curly hair or straight hair? My wife is Chinese, and typically Chinese women and men have very straight hair, and so does she. Epic Dragon Warrior says, can you make an intro for ThinkSlab? Because your videos are like TV shows, it'd be awesome to make an amazing intro for every ThinkSlab, like a TV show intro. I think you make your videos even better with intros. It's interesting. I'd like to hear more, like your concept or your idea. Do you mean like I don't know why, but I'm thinking Gravity Falls because I'm thinking of a cartoon. But do you mean like that, where it's a long sort of intro, where maybe 30 seconds of music showing different scenes and things like that with the logo? Is that what you have in mind? I'd love to hear more. But the other thing I would like to hear is, in that case, would I want that animated by someone, like a cartoon kind of, rather than gameplay, because that might be a bit weird. So I don't know. Let me know. Katrina Lambert says, do you believe that video games predict the future? I hope not. I played some video games that pretty. Not that I play really violent video games, but like Call of Duty. Pretty hoping that some of that stuff that happens in like Modern Warfare 3, not predicting the future, or like Plants vs. Zombies. We've got houses and stuff, but no people. Like we've got plants and zombies fighting. I don't think I want that to happen either. The hero of gaming asks, so how about them Lakers? Yeah, thanks for reminding me. One thing I will say though, at least they aren't the Knicks. Oh man. Professor Griswold says, is Think's wife a doctor in real life? I know she acts as one in ThinkSlab, but I didn't know she actually is one. Yeah, she is. She is a surgeon, in fact, and that's why we had all that surgical equipment and stuff, because she really is one. Gretchen Walton-Spiel says, I want to be honest here. Uh-oh. And I'm going to, because of what I'm going to say. But I think that Ask Think is a place where all the noodlers out there and you too can open up and share their thoughts and feeling serious and silly without having anyone laugh or say mean things. So thank you. And I hope you understand what I said, because sometimes I can understand what I'm saying. I can't understand what I'm saying half the time either. And yes, you're right. I love that we have this open forum where we can just talk about whatever we want. nothing to do with the gameplay. The gameplay is just something visual in the background while we talk, or I talk to you. But I guess you guys talk to me because of your comments. But yeah, I really, really love the openness of Ask Think, and that's why I do it every week. Well, that'll probably be 2 years from now, so and they'll probably be adding stuff by then. So, I mean, I think it's going to be. I was looking at my research lab today, and I think for me to finish my research lab, because that's linear, I've said that before, I still have, and that's assuming that the minute or second that one thing is finished, I start the next thing. I think I still have at least 4 weeks in that lab at Town Hall 7. I don't know if I have that much other stuff to upgrade. Probably do, though, with my 4 builders. But, you know, that's just to get to TH8. And I think, you know, I think Town Hall 8, I'm going to be there. Oh, and I still have to upgrade my Bob. He needs to be upgraded through Town Hall 7. There's a lot still to do. Getting all the way to Town Hall 10 and then maxing out the upgrades in Town Hall 10 is a long way away. Owl Lover or Brooke asks, hi, I think. How did you switch the items like the TNT and the Mabury with Kevin in the Squicken Things lab? And well, actually, that's sort of I'm still learning the mod that I had programmed, the custom mod for Things lab. And that was one of the features in it, is that the minions they'll initially have nothing in their hand, but if you have an item in your hand, you right click them, they will grab it, and if you have something else in your hand and you right click them, they will swap items with you. So it's a feature of the mod, and I think it adds realism. The Watcher 5292 asks, will you ever put the minion mod with the arms in the description? Because I checked and it wasn't there. Yes, absolutely. It's going to be a little bit of time still. We're still working out bugs that you guys don't see, but I do. For example, in the Squicken one, one of the problems I discovered, because I've corrected a lot of them. When we put the arms on, I noticed one of the things was when the minions were running, when their arm was at full extension, the end of their hand turned white instead of the black gloves. So we had to fix that. Then one of the things I noticed in the Squicken one, but it wasn't fixed when I did the video because I was in the middle of doing it and I thought everything was fine. When Kopi got wet, she turned into a regular wolf. So I had to be really careful with that. But yeah, once all the bugs are corrected and there are a few little things that we're adding, then yeah, I absolutely will. Did you actually have a noodle bowl and mushroom stew and Kopi and a normal dog? Did you edit the picture or something? Talking about the pics on Twitter. And again, this is to do with the mod. In the mod that was created, he calls it the Thinknoodles mod. Instead of using a resource pack, I now actually have mushroom stew and a noodle bowl. They have unique recipes instead of, you know, just mushroom stew. And also, Kopi is a separate mob. She's not a wolf, a tamed wolf or anything like that. She's a Kopi. So I think it's really cool. Jessica Towns asks, hey, why are the Think slabs getting shorter than they used to be? They used to be about 17 minutes. Well, actually, I usually shoot for about 15 minutes. And, you know, I sometimes go over, sometimes go under. But they're usually around that. Sometimes 17 minutes is actually a pretty long Think slab. Usually they're right around 15 and a half. Now, you might think that they're getting shorter, but they're actually not, because ever since I had the minion generator, I'm not spending time going down to the lab, finding the minion, going back up to the top or whatever. I'm not interrupting the video. And you'd be surprised that sometimes adds a minute to a minute and a half to the video. So while they might seem shorter, the story itself is the same length. It's just that I'm sticking the minion at the end and putting all of that information about getting a new minion and all that all at the end. So it seems shorter, but the story is longer. Epic Dragon Warrior asks, can you add something new to Things Lab? Like on the end, it says, did you spot Stampy? Because adding a secret person in the video would be awesome. That's a pretty cool idea. You mean like stick Easter eggs into it somewhere here or there in an item, and then at the end, ask you guys where you saw it and ask for the time code or something? That could be really fun. Pose 84 591 AJ says, think when you go to the city on Thinks Lab, have you ever accidentally killed a citizen with your diamond sword? No. So when I put you guys in as NPCs into the city maps, I use the custom NPCs mod, and you're all friendly. So what that means when you have a friendly custom NPC is you cannot hit them in any way. Fist, you can't hit them with a sword or an axe or anything at all. So I don't worry about that. Haley asks, how many different mods do you use in Thinks Lab? It depends on the Thinks Lab, of course, but there are some that are always in it. And custom NPCs is always in it. Now the Thinknoodles mod is always in it. Optifine, of course. What else do I use? I use the Melissa's Doors mod for most of my doors and the trap doors, how everything moves smoothly now. The morph mod is nearly always on so that I can morph into one of the minions. More player models I use to make my like my hair and stuff, and also for morphing into things as well, but it makes my hair look solid, if you guys have ever noticed that. And then I usually have the Cam Studio mod on as well. Those are on almost everything Slab now. And then depending on what the plot line is, I'll add other mods to achieve what I need to do. Cartoony Dave asks, think can your dogs from the Noodle Planet sometimes visit Thinks Lab? They can now. Previously, prior to the Thinknoodles mod, they couldn't because they would just look like Kopi as golden retrievers. But now that we've got a difference between tamed wolves or dogs and an actual golden retriever named Kopi, they actually can visit. Puppy-eyed Super Gal asks, how do you get the minions to say the right thing at the right time? Well, they don't actually say it in recording. What I usually do is I ask questions or talk to the minions, and I don't even know what they're gonna say back. I just kind of direct the story and direct the conversation where I want it to go. And then in editing, I decide what I want them to say. Jordan Firestar asks, why don't you ever do redstone on the Noodle Planet? I did in the last episode. I don't know if you guys saw it, but there's a lot of redstone on the Noodle Planet. I just don't necessarily put it in video because I'm not that great at it still. I still make a lot of mistakes, and it's really hard to think of the circuit that I want to build and make it work. And if there's a slight problem and I'm trying to talk to you guys at the same time, I just can't get through it. All right, guys, that's it for this episode of Ask Think. Don't forget to leave your question in the comments below so I can have something to answer next week. Go ahead and leave a like if you enjoyed this episode. I'll see you guys again soon. Thanks for watching, and of course, Noodle on!